What's up? In this video I'm going to show you how to create amazing AMAPIANO beats in FL Studio. AMAPIANO is an upcoming genre from South Africa and right now is becoming more and more mainstream, with artists like Asake, Focalistic, and Mellow and Sleazy. So if you want to create an amazing AMAPIANO beat yourself, make sure to watch the whole video. So I hope you enjoy it. So the first step when it comes to making an AMAPIANO beat is creating the drums. In AMAPIANO, usually a soft kick is used, combining with a shaker loop and some snare, rims and percussions. So first we're starting off with a shaker loop. Most of the times we're adding a second shaker loop. Then we're drawing in a kick, which is following the first step of every beat. And most of the times this is a soft kick which isn't too present. So in AMAPIANO, the kick is in the background, which seems really weird to new producers. In AMAPIANO there are multiple rhythms which we could use to create a snare or rim loop. So this is the most common rhythm. But in AMAPIANO, most of the times we're switching it up. So for example, we're delaying this part of the loop 1/4 of a bar to the right. But we also could mess around with this one, like this. So there are multiple ways how to create unique rhythms when it comes to this genre. The number one trick when it comes to making AMAPIANO drums is using multiple snares, which are following different rhythms and patterns. So we're layering multiple ones, like this one, this snare, another snare, this snare, which is playing in multiple pitches, so E and C, and also another snare. So right now, just using snares, we have this rhythm, which could look or sound maybe a little bit overwhelming, but just play around and extend it using multiple snares, which is definitely the easiest way how to do this. Then we're adding another closed and open head. Then we're adding the final snares and some percussions. And an element which is often used in those beats is this whistle. And then most of the times we're adding 20% of swing. The next step to make your AMAPIANO drum loop sound more dynamic is playing around with the velocity of each sample. So for example, this snare loop, just select it, press Option R, and I'm select bipolar, and then play around with the velocity. So not all the sounds are played at the same level. And also make sure to play around with the elements individually to create, for example, a rhythm like this. Makes it unique and just adds a lot of dynamics. And when it comes to sound selection, make sure to add some snares which contain low frequencies. For example, this one. And this adds another dimension when it comes to the groove to a drum loop like this. So for example, if we remove the low frequencies from the snares and we add it back in, the drum loop just sounds way better and groovier. Then we're adding 2 more drum loops, which is, by the way, an easy trick how to make your drum loop sound way more professional, and it just fills up the empty space. So most of the times I'm adding a drum loop which contains some low frequency, so some toms. And when it comes to the second layer, I add a drum loop which contains some high percussive sounds. And AMAPIANO is just crucial you feel the drums. So if you like the sounds which I've used, make sure to check out the AMAPIANO Paradise drum kit. The link is in the description. Step 2. Adding the melodies. So for this beat, first I've added this tremolo texture sound, and the second layer are some vocal samples. Which sounds really cool. And this adds some more ambience to the beat. And make sure those elements are not that present in the mix, but more in the background. And then we're starting off with a chord progression. So I've created this beat in E minor, so the root note is E. So I've used this electric piano preset from Expand 2, which I highly recommend when it comes to creating AMAPIANO beats. And I've created this chord progression. Then most of the times adding a second and easy layer is a pluck. So if you use a random preset from Serum and added this melody, which starts from the root note, which is the easiest way how to create a melody. And then I wanted to add a dark sounding pluck. And then we have those two white highlighted notes right here. If we pick those two, they sound dark. So if you want to create a dark melody, use those notes which are near each other. Then we're adding the tremolo signal, which is a typical sound when it comes to making AMAPIANO beats. So this sound comes with purity, slow synth, and then the tremolo signal. And again, this one is playing the root note from the chord progression. In the background. So right now we're gonna add some low frequencies to the chord progression. So the first step is to add a simple sine bass. And I wanted to use a lot of stock plugins for this tutorial. So I've just used the DX10, which we're also gonna use to create the log drum. And I've just used the sine bass preset. And you want to keep it simple. So you just copy the root notes from the chord progression. So those are these notes. You copy them, Ctrl C. And as you can see, those are the exact same notes. And they always go perfect together with the chord progression. Then I've added a simple laser sound from the GMS, which is also through the stock plugin. And I've just added a simple kickstart 2 to create that ducking sidechaining effect. And then we're gonna add the next element, which is crucial when it comes to AMAPIANO, is that root note pluck, which is very repetitive. But this one adds a lot of rhythm to the AMAPIANO beat. So for this sound, I've also used another preset from Serum, and it sounds like this. I've added a lot of reverb, so it blends very well together in the mix. So when we play it in the main part, it sounds like this. So I've added another plug using the sour, using this preset. Use this simple UFO sound, which sounds crazy from the GMS. And then a final layer from Purity, which is an ARP, the Mallet Heaven. Also playing in a root note. And that one is playing in the bridge part. So that's it when it comes to creating all the melodies, a lot of layers, but you have to switch it up. And when you listen to AMAPIANO beats, there is just a lot going on. So to keep it simple, play most of your melodies like this ARP just on the root note. So before I show you how to create a log drum, first I want to talk about Austrian Audio. Austrian Audio just hit me up with their headphones. This one, which is called the Hi X65, and this new amazing microphone, which is called the OC18. So those headphones are some professional over-ear open back headphones. And it's just an amazing headphone when it comes to mixing your beats. So if you're looking for some new studio headphones, definitely go and take a look at those ones. The link will be in the description. And the sound of this microphone is also amazing. The build quality is just insane. And this one is perfect for example, recording your voice, recording instruments, and much more. So if you're looking for a new studio microphone, also make sure to check out this one. Highly recommend it. The link will also be in the description. Step 3, the log drum. So when it comes to this log drum, I've used 2 types of log drums, which are originating from one preset. So I'm going to show you how to do this. So without making it too difficult, we're going to make minor tweaks to the same preset. So I've used log drum preset 20 from my sample pack, which is this preset. And this is the same preset, but I've adjusted the init button. And by adjusting the init knob, you're adjusting the punch of the log drum. So for example, in the intro of your AMAPIANO beat, you don't want heavy punching log drum right in the beginning. For example, we're starting off with this log drum, also based on a chord progression. So we're starting off at E again. This one is just following the chord progression. So for example, if I add the keys, so we can see the ghost notes. If you don't see the ghost notes, you can pretty simply enable it by selecting View and then select Ghost Channels. So now you're able to see the ghost notes, and it's just way easier creating more and more melody layers. As you can see, it's just following the chord progression again. So don't try to draw in something at random. This is definitely the easiest way how to start creating a log drum. So this is the first rhythm, and then we're switching to the next log drum rhythm. Which is based on exactly the same log drum, but with some minor tweaks. Just to make it interesting, make it not that repetitive. So right now you add the feeling the beat is really building up. And we also used a simple sine bass, but to give the log drum some more power, we're just copying exactly the same log drum, which we draw in, into the sine bass. So without it sounds really flat. So now we're adding some more low frequencies. Sounds way fuller. So you could use a simple sine bass, you could also use another bass, totally depends on your preference. Then the next log drum is coming in, which is this pattern, also based on the chord progression. And then I've made some tweaks to the init preset, so by using this we're adding more punch to the log drum. So for example, when I lower it down, we're adding more, we're adding even more to 50%. And this one is adding the punch to the log drum. So this is the log drum melody. And let's play it in total. Then we have the second part of the log drum layer, and this one has to go really well together with the previous element which we've added. So within the next 4 bars, we're converting back to log drum, which we've used in the bridge, which is log drum melody 2. This melody, as you can remember, but I've extended the notes so they sound longer, use the sine bass again, and use the second log drum, which is more punchy. So right now, let's have a listen. When it comes to adding effects to the log drum, this is also something which is very important. You just add an EQ, because most of the times when you're playing a log drum on notes which are a little bit higher in the scale, they could sound really harsh and annoying. So you add a dynamic IQ to reduce those high peaking volumes, which are usually between 500 and 1000 Hertz. Then I'm adding some saturation, so I'm using the Saturn 2, some warm tape with a lot of drive to make sure we're adding some color to the log drum. Then we're using this parallel compression, so just to flat out the signal so we don't have any volumes just hopping around. And if you're, for example, a Mac or Ableton user, or you just find it difficult to find good log drum presets, in my AMAPIANO Paradise drum kit, I've added log drum presets for the Fruity DX10. So this folder contains 30 unique log drum presets, but I've also sampled those presets, like those ones, which you could use if you're not able to use the Fruity DX10. And all those sounds are pre-mixed and just ready to use in your project. Step 4, arranging the beat. When it comes to AMAPIANO, think in 8 bars. So every 8 bars a new element is coming in. You could make it a little bit more interesting by adding automations, switching up the drum loop. So for example, when it comes to the drums of this beat, not all the same drums are playing at the same time, so make sure to switch it up. So for the intro, I've added less elements than in, for example, the main part of the beat. For example, after 8 bars, this snare is coming in, and then after 16 bars, this snap and clap is coming in, and this way you keep the beat more interesting. Then of course add some uplifters and downlifters, the typical Afrobeat clap FX. So those are some background elements which keep it interesting. And then of course switching up the log drum, which I've told you previously makes the beat way cooler, makes it way uniquer. So make sure to add some minor tweaks to the log drum every 8 bars. So this could be removing or adding less or more notes to the log drum. Step 5, mixing your AMAPIANO beat. Mixing your AMAPIANO beat isn't that difficult. If you come from another genre, there are some weird things going on. For example, the kick, which is in the background. So in Afrobeat, the kick is way more present. When it comes to AMAPIANO, this one is soft and in the background. So when it comes to the kick, I mix it at minus 12 dB, and I usually add the log drum between minus 9 and minus 12 dB. So it sounds like this. So the log drum is present, but not that present. So you want to keep it a little bit balanced. So in some of the AMAPIANO beats, the log drum goes all out. That's not my style. I like it this way. Then the rims and snares, usually at minus 8 dB. I've used some saturation, 20%, just to create some more headroom to make sure the rims and snares blend very well together without losing dynamics or transients. Then I've used this transient control preset, which is this compressor. Then I've removed all the low frequencies up to 50 Hertz because you don't don't want those low frequencies in your drums, and it could get really messy when you add those low frequencies and playing the kick and the log drum all at once. So when it comes to mixing, make sure to apply this trick. And then I use this new trick of mine, which is making the drums sound more wide. So I'm panning this one to the right and this one to the left, and this way we're just spreading this signal. And when it comes to the melodies, there is no straightforward thing. I usually mix my melodies between -12 and -15 dB, but when it comes to AMAPIANO, when you add a lot of elements, it could depend on the sounds which you are using. So on the main melodies bus, I've also added some saturation and this ozone imager to add some more gain on the side signals, and I kept it very simple when adding the elements. So when I make an AMAPIANO beat, I don't want it to sound super clean. I want it to sound a little bit muddy, so just mix it the way you like it. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like the sounds which I've used in this tutorial, make sure to check out the AMAPIANO Paradise drum kit. The link is in the description. I highly recommend it. And I'm also giving away this beat for free, so you could download the stems. The link is in the description. So make sure to download it, and I hope you enjoy the final result.